Do you truly know what your skin is telling you? We often look in the mirror, perhaps notice a new wrinkle or a faint age spot, and mostly just think about the years passing by. But what if the very spots you've dismissed as just age spots or a funny little bump are actually whispering a more serious story? A silent alarm bell for something you can't afford to ignore. It's a painful reality that many forms of skin cancer, when caught late, require far more complex and invasive treatments. The regret of not noticing sooner, of dismissing a tiny change, can weigh heavily. Yet, your skin, believe it or not, is often the first messenger, a truly vigilant sentry alerting you to deeper issues, including some forms of cancer. It's like a book written right there on your body. And once you know how to read it, you gain a powerful tool for your health. In this video, we're going to dive deep into what those silent whispers look like. The subtle, often overlooked changes on your skin that could be critical indicators of something you need to address with your doctor. We'll talk about various types of changes, not just moles, that demand your attention, giving you the knowledge to be your own best advocate. Stick with me until the very end, because I'll share something crucial that many people miss. Something that could genuinely surprise you and potentially save a life, perhaps even your own. Let's start with what many of us think we know, but often misunderstand: the humble mole. For decades, we've been told to watch our moles, but it's not just about noticing a new one or a particularly dark one. The real concern often lies in changes. In the story an existing mole begins to tell you. Think about that mole you've had for years on your arm, or perhaps on your back. Has it always looked the same, or have you noticed it getting a little darker? Or perhaps it's started to itch where it never did before, or it's grown ever so slightly. These are the kinds of evolutions we need to pay close attention to. Doctors often talk about the ABCDE rule when discussing melanoma, the most serious form of skin cancer. A stands for asymmetry. If you draw a line through the mole, do the two halves match? If not, that's a flag. B is for border. Are the edges irregular, ragged, notched, or blurred? Healthy moles usually have smooth, distinct borders. C is for color. Is the color uniform, or does it vary from one area to another, showing shades of tan, brown, black, even red, white, or blue? A single mole with multiple colors is a definite concern. D is for diameter. Melanomas are often larger than 6 millimeters, about the size of a pencil eraser, though they can be smaller. But perhaps the most critical letter, especially as we get older, is E, which stands for evolving. This means any change in size, shape, color, elevation, or any new symptom like bleeding, itching, or crusting. An evolving mole is a serious red flag, regardless of its initial appearance or how long it's been there. You see, it's easy to dismiss a familiar mole, telling ourselves, "Oh, that's always been there." But the key isn't just its presence, it's its behavior. Imagine you have a good friend, and suddenly they start acting completely out of character. You'd notice, wouldn't you? Your moles are similar? If one starts changing its personality, that's when you need to act. The simplest, most effective actionable step here is regular self-checks. Make it a habit, perhaps once a month, to look at your skin from head to toe. Use a mirror for those hard-to-see areas like your back. Or better yet, ask a trusted partner or family member to help you. And here's a practical tip. Take photos. Use your smartphone to snap pictures of suspicious moles, especially if they're on your back or somewhere you can't easily monitor. Date the photos and revisit them periodically. This creates a visual timeline that can be incredibly helpful for your doctor in detecting subtle changes you might otherwise miss. Now, let's move beyond the traditional mole and consider another silent sign that often goes unnoticed because it doesn't look like what we typically imagine cancer to be. This is the persistent red or pearly bump, often a sign of basal cell carcinoma, which is the most common form of skin cancer. What makes this one so stealthy is its seemingly innocent appearance. You might mistake it for a persistent pimple that just won't go away, or a small scratch that won't quite heal, or even just a shiny little patch of skin. These bumps often appear as a small, pearly, translucent lump, sometimes with tiny blood vessels visible on the surface. They can also look like a flat, firm, pale or waxy area, or even a red, tender, slightly scaly patch. The crucial part is their behavior. They might bleed easily, especially after minor injury, and then heal, only to bleed again. They might scab over, appear to get better, then reappear in the exact same spot. Imagine a persistent little nuisance on your face, neck, or ears, areas often exposed to the sun. I once knew a gentleman who had a small, shiny bump on his nose for months. He thought it was just a stubborn pore that kept getting blocked or irritated. He'd pick at it. It would bleed a little, scab over, and then reappear. He didn't think much of it until his wife, after hearing a health segment, urged him to get it checked. Turns out, it was a basal cell carcinoma. The good news is, these are typically slow-growing and rarely spread to other parts of the body, but they can still cause significant local damage if left untreated, growing deeper into the skin, nerves, and bones. So, the actionable step here is simple, but vital if you have any spot on your skin that bleeds easily, doesn't heal within a few weeks, or repeatedly heals and reopens, especially if it's on a sun-exposed area. It warrants a doctor's visit. Don't dismiss it as just a clumsy scratch or a stubborn blemish. Your skin is trying to tell you something important, and it's always better to get it checked out for peace of mind. Now that we've discussed the evolving mole and the persistent pearly bump, let's consider some even more subtle clues your skin might be giving you. Next, let's dive into some of the even more subtle indicators, the ones you might feel more than you see, or that appear in unexpected places. Consider the rough, scaly patch, often found on sun-exposed areas like the face, scalp, ears, neck, or the back of your hands. You might feel it more than you clearly see it at first, almost like a piece of sandpaper on your skin, or a patch that just feels perpetually dry and scaly, no matter how much moisturizer you apply. These are often known as actinic keratoses, or AKs, and they are considered precancerous growths. While not skin cancer themselves, they have the potential to develop into squamous cell carcinoma, the second most common type of skin cancer. A squamous cell carcinoma can appear as a firm, red nodule, or a flat, scaly, crusty patch, or even a sore that doesn't heal, similar to the basal cell we just discussed, but often more crusty or scaly. They can grow rapidly, sometimes appearing like a wart or a persistent, non-healing sore. Imagine you have a spot on your scalp, perhaps where your hair is thinning, or on the back of your hand where the sun always hits. You scratch it, and it feels rough and dry, almost like a persistent patch of eczema that never quite clears up. Many people dismiss these as just old age spots or simple dry skin. But if you have a patch that feels persistently rough or scaly, especially in areas that have seen a lot of sun throughout your life, that's a red flag. It's your skin showing the cumulative effect of sun exposure. The actionable step here is to run your fingers over your skin, particularly on those sun-exposed areas. Don't just rely on your eyes. If you feel a persistent rough patch, something that isn't smooth and soft, particularly if it's scaly or crusty and doesn't respond to moisturizers, it needs a professional look. Moving on. We often think of skin cancer as something visible on the surface, something obvious. But what about new or changing lesions that appear in hidden spots? Places we rarely inspect. I'm talking about under the nails, or on the soles of your feet or the palms of your hands. These are often overlooked areas for melanoma, especially a type called acral lentiginous melanoma, which is more common in people with darker skin tones but can affect anyone. For instance, A dark streak under a fingernail or toenail that isn't from an injury and doesn't grow out with the nail can be a sign. Or discoloration around the nail that extends into the cuticle. Similarly, new dark spots or streaks on the soles of your feet or the palms of your hands, particularly if they are changing in size, shape, or color, warrant immediate attention. How often do you really look closely at the soles of your feet? Most of us don't, unless we have a blister or a stone in our shoe. Yet, skin cancer can lurk there, silently growing because it's out of sight and out of mind. I recall a story of a woman who noticed a dark line on her big toenail, but she thought she had just bruised it while gardening. It lingered for months, and she never thought much of it until her podiatrist, during a routine visit, spotted it and immediately referred her. It turned out to be melanoma. The actionable step for this silent sign is crucial. Incorporate a full-body skin check into your monthly routine. And that includes those hidden areas. Lift your toenails. Check your fingernails. Really look at the soles of your feet and the palms of your hands. Use a small mirror if you need to. Or ask a loved one to help you inspect these often forgotten spots. This isn't about being paranoid. It's about being thoroughly aware of your body's signals. Finally, another critical silent sign that can apply to various types of skin cancer, including basal cell and squamous cell carcinomas, and sometimes even a non-healing melanoma, is a wound that simply won't heal, or one that repeatedly heals and then reopens in the same spot. We've all had cuts, scrapes, or nicks that take a while to mend, especially as we get older, when our skin tends to heal a little more slowly. But if you have a sore, a scab, or a wound that persists for weeks, or even months, without fully closing up, or one that seems to get better, then breaks open again in the exact same spot without any new trauma, that's your skin trying to tell you something important. This is a very common presentation for non-melanoma skin cancers. Imagine you have a little spot on your arm that you initially thought was just a bug bite, or maybe you scratched yourself. It scabs over, but then the scab falls off, and it just looks raw again. And this cycle repeats for weeks and weeks. Or it might be a small, crusty area that never quite forms new, healthy skin. Your body has an incredible capacity for healing, and when a wound consistently resists that healing process, especially without an obvious reason like repeated injury, it's a significant red flag. It's like a persistent little message that your body is sending, saying, something isn't right here. The actionable step is straightforward if you have any lesion, sore, or wound that doesn't heal within 4 to 6 weeks, or that repeatedly scabs over and then reopens. Do not delay in getting it checked by a doctor. This is one of the most common ways skin cancers are discovered, and it's often overlooked because it just seems like a minor, annoying skin issue rather than something potentially serious. So, we've talked about how those moles aren't just moles if they start acting differently, changing in size, shape, color, or developing new symptoms. We've also discussed how a little shiny, pearly bump that bleeds might not be innocent, even if it looks harmless. Then there's the rough patch that could be more than just dry skin, feeling like sandpaper under your touch. We explored why even your nails and the soles of your feet deserve a close, regular look, as silent dangers can hide in those less examined areas. And finally, we highlighted the critical sign of a wound that just won't heal, or one that keeps mending only to break open again in the exact same place. The good news, the truly wonderful news in all of this, is that skin cancer, when caught early, is highly treatable. You have the power to spot these things yourself, to be vigilant, and to seek help promptly. This isn't about fostering fear. It's about empowering you with knowledge, giving you the peace of mind that comes from knowing you are actively looking out for your own well-being. Think of it as your monthly skin date, a quick, loving check-in with your body's largest organ. Because your health is truly your most precious asset, make it a routine. like brushing your teeth or having your morning cup of tea. Beyond these regular self-examinations, remember the importance of professional skin checks, perhaps annually, especially if you have a lot of moles, a history of significant sun exposure, or a family history of skin cancer. And of course, consistent sun protection remains paramount. Think broad-spectrum sunscreen with an SPF of 30 or higher, protective clothing, wide-brimmed hats, and seeking shade, especially during the sun's peak hours. This isn't about avoiding the sun entirely, but about enjoying the outdoors safely and smartly. Now, remember, I promised you something that would surprise you. Here it is. What might surprise you most is this common misconception. Many people believe that if they've been careful with sun protection in their later years, they're safe from skin cancer. They think, I wear my hat now. I put on sunscreen, so I'm protected. But the truth is, the sun damage you accumulated in your youth, those painful sunburns from your teenage years, those hours spent outdoors without protection decades ago, that damage doesn't just disappear. It's silently stored in your skin's memory, and it can manifest as skin cancer much later in life. Sometimes even if you haven't had significant recent sun exposure. This means that even if you're now diligent with your sun protection, those old memories on your skin need your continued, careful attention. Vigilance isn't just for those who spent their lives tanning. It's for everyone, because your past sun exposure is a cumulative story that continues to unfold on your skin over decades. So never think it's too late to start checking, or that past habits are irrelevant. Every spot on your skin tells a part of your life story, and understanding those silent whispers is a gift you give yourself. Have you or someone you know experienced any of these skin changes? Sharing your story or your insights in the comments below can help others feel less alone and more informed. We truly learn so much from each other's experiences and perspectives. If this video has been helpful, if it's given you something new to think about, please give it a thumbs up. That tells me you'd like more content like this. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell, so you won't miss out on more tips and insights designed to help you live your best, healthiest life at every age. Remember, paying attention to these silent whispers from your skin is a powerful act of self-care. Be kind to your skin, be vigilant, and truly listen to what it's telling you. Here's to a long, healthy, and vibrant life, full of awareness and peace of mind. You've got this.